episode 251. It is the 24th of January, blimey. The longest Monday ever is January. And we're almost at the end of it. Although next week will still be January. Next Friday will still be January. It's weird, isn't it? Anyway, welcome to the show. It is, as I said, episode 251. It is our NAMM 2025 coverage show. We have a lot to go through. So we've got so much to go through. We're going to forego Synthspirations, which was going to be Andy Synchrotron. He sent me in a lovely video, so that'll be next week. Okay, so we're gonna skip Synthspirations this week. But before we get into anything, let's get all the boring stuff out of the way. We're gonna whiz through this because it takes a long while. So first of all, give us a like during the show. That'd be fantastic. If you're watching live, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If you want to comment, then do so in the chat windows on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Or if you're watching after the fact, then you can do it down below in the comments section. If you haven't subscribed to us already, why not? Do it now. It doesn't cost you anything, and you get reminders of the show, and that's it. We don't do anything else with that. And if you like the show so much that you think somebody else should be watching it, do feel free to share us around. We don't mind at all. We are completely funded by our viewers, and we love them for it. We thank them deeply, and there are many ways that you can help keep this show on air. When I say that, if you don't pay us any money, we will eventually end up probably going off air. And the fact we've been here for almost 5 years now would suggest that you do like having us around. So one of the most fun ways to do this is through Patreon. It's a minimum $2 a month. You can stop and start as much and as often as you like. It doesn't matter. But whilst you are subscribed, you have access to lots of free content, such as patches for synthesizers, video exclusives, ad-free videos, and other such things. So whilst you're subscribed, you can access all of that content, download all of those free sounds, and then you can stop your subscription or start again whenever you feel like doing so. And the same thing applies to YouTube channel members. If you want to be a YouTube channel member, then you can do so. Same thing, minimum $2 a month, and you get all that free stuff as well. So that's one way you can support us. The other way that, of course, you can support us is through our merchandise store. Yes, in case you hadn't realised, we have a merchandise store. I haven't even got the page up with so much stuff. I'm going to just, you know where to go. There it is. There's the link. It's in the description below the video. There are T-shirts, there are hats, there's, I was going to say underwear, but there isn't any underwear.
There's the Justin Havu tank top.
There's the tank tops, there's the mugs. We sold a mug a little while ago. There's water bottles, there's stickers, there's badges, there's denim jackets, there's leather jackets or fake leather jackets. There's hoodies, there's dresses, there's dog collars, all sorts of things. And all emblazoned with our lovely little logo that you see just up there. Look, there it is, right there. So, yeah, if you want to broadcast your love for the channel, you can do so and support us because we get a small slice of everything that is sold on there. So that's all of that. You can find us across all the social media, or most of the social media networks. Facebook, Blue Sky, Twitch, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, and Twitch. On YouTube, of course, as well. We're all across those. If you have a question during the show, bear in mind we've got a lot to get through today, so we might not be able to field everything. Equally, we might not be covering the thing you want us to cover because we've only got 2 hours, and NAMM has been pretty busy this year. So bear with us. If we don't cover it this week and we think it's important, we'll slip it into next week, as the actress said to the bishop,
staring her tea with the other hand.
So there you go. That's I think that's everything. I think that'll do for now. That's all the stuff. Let's put heads on disjointed voices. Mr. Andrew Longhurst, welcome.
Yay.
How you doing?
I'm a little distracted.
I'm
watching...
You're a little something.
No, I'm watching a live stream of Hanoi at the moment.
Of Hanoi?
Hanoi, yeah. It's the capital of NAMM. I can't see any synths. So I don't know what everyone's...
Oh, that's tired.
It's
that's old and tired, like you.
That's none
yeah,
there.
we'll bring Andy in just a moment. But in the meantime, very quickly, who was that? I recognised him. Oh, come on, give us another look.
Hey guys, it's Eric Ribeiro.
That's Eric, of course it's Eric. Hi, Eric. Right, there's Bob Coover right behind him there. Right, Andy, I'm just going to pop you off because we've got to get all this other stuff out of the way, but do hang around. I did exactly the opposite. There we go. Right, so, Spong.
What?
How you doing?
Yes.
Feeling okay?
Better.
Glad to hear it, sir.
I have
Glad
a
to hear
beautiful
it.
woman between my legs. Everything is right with the world.
There you go. Hello, Siri.
And now I must pay her. Come on. There you
There she
go.
is.
Beautiful.
Bless her. Bless her.
A little bit of fudge, and she's
Indeed.
anybody's.
Hey. I like women like that.
Yeah, so do I. I went out.
Jolly
with
good.
one. Oh, anyway.
Yeah.
Hi.
All good. Yes. Lovely.
good.
Busy week?
No,
No. Good.
no. I have done the
Square root
proverbial.
of FA.
Yeah. And beginning to feel human again, whatever that
Good.
is.
Good.
Human.
Or
Maybe
whatever.
one day you'll look it as well.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Yeah,
Plastic
so it's a
surgery
bit
has
of an
not
arse.
advanced
By the way,
that much.
Christmas is over. It's nice that you're wearing the jumper, but Christmas is. Well, I suppose.
Well,
you
I
wear
needed
those.
something that said ProSynth Network on it.
And that was the nearest thing in the wash basket.
Yeah, and those fake passports aren't selling. I should have used one of
No,
them.
that's true.
Yeah.
Anyway, good to see you as always. As always, we've already had a donation from one of our moderators, no less, Mr. Andrew Brooks. It's not begging. We are just giving information. It's completely voluntary. You don't have to do it. But I think Viral Beats has topped you here because Viral Beats has gifted. Bless him. Good evening, sir. Good to have you along. Viral Beats has gifted 5 ProSynth Network memberships. I don't know who to, but you
Wow.
5 lucky people have all just got a membership. So thank you for that, and
Exposed
make
to
sure
a
you
whole load of trouble.
Again.
make
But
sure
he's done this before, hasn't he?
I know, super generous. We love
You
him.
are a very, very lovely man.
And he's a
Thank
very
you
talented
much.
guy. We have a common passion for the Arturia Mini Freak. We love those. So, yeah, good man. Go and check his channel out, Viral Beats. So, there you go. Right, we've got tons to get through. I don't really know where to start. But don't forget, we've also, as you can see here, we've got a roving cat. Oh, sorry, I just had a chill run down my spine. It's
Oh, I wonder how that works.
Yeah, how
is
does
that Cameron? That is Cameron. It's Cameron wears a hat. Lovely. We're gonna
Is
zip
my
backwards
camera
and forwards.
reversed for you guys?
No, it's
reversed for me?
fine. No, everything's the right way around.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
he's at the Kurzweil
Cool stuff.
stand.
But yeah, we'll ping in and out with Andy during the show because we have got a lot to get through. But if Andy sees something very special, Andy, give us a big wave or something in front of the lens, and then we'll bring you in. Okay. Yeah, something like that'll do, and then we'll get to you ASAP. But yeah, look at those Kurzweils, the new Kurzweil. Kurzweil's 2061, 2088. We're going to be talking about those a little later. But sorry, I'm just trying to get that mental image of the synclavier region out of my head because it just gives me nightmares. But there you go.
I knew you'd
Anyway,
love
yeah, thank you. Yeah, appreciate that. Not. Brilliant. Great to have you there. Bob Moog Foundation just over there on the right. I saw pictures of Michelle and Dina earlier on. Do you know, for a minute, I had this weird vision.
Play it
that
again,
the person
Sam.
playing the piano looked really like a lot like Don Lewis, but of course, Don's no longer here. That was a bit of a
Yeah.
chills moment. Craig Frestiasi, hello.
that. CSN, say hi.
CSN, hello, Robbie.
How you doing, Craig? Hey,
Hello, bud.
how are you?
In the live chat room.
I want one of those shirts.
From our spirits that are here from 1981, 82.
Wow.
That Bob oversaw the design with
Yes, he did,
Tom Ray and Jim Scott.
Nice. You guys
Awesome.
gotta see this.
Cool.
You gotta see the pillow.
Oh, they've got pillows now. Look at that. I've seen the sofa, never seen the
I
pillow.
use a real mini Moog to sit on.
Yes, I sit on a real me, and of course the books.
Not very
Brilliant,
comfortable.
Andy. Right, Andy, we're gonna start off with the news. So
No problem.
we're
All right,
just
I'll
gonna
be
drop
here.
you off, but thanks
No
for
worries.
doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Just quickly, very quickly, give us a shot of the carpet because everybody's here for the carpet.
Cam.
2 days.
Look at that, 2 shades and a pinstripe. Oh, there's a red one as well. Thank you very much indeed, Andy.
Thank you.
Back with you later. Thank you all. Brilliant. That's a live from the floor at NAMM. What other show gives you live coverage from the floor at NAMM? I don't know.
Yeah.
There you go.
Is
Lots
it-
of
is
carpet.
it the same
and
carpet?
I'd like to think not.
It looked it.
But it
It
probably
looked
is.
very similar.
Is it sticky? Is it like cinema carpet?
It's probably
Yeah,
like
Full
our
of
like
front
vitamin
room.
E.
Ugh.
It's like
Full
our-
of vitamin.
Like
Anyway.
our couch.
Let's do news. So let's do this one first because I'm super delighted that this company is back and up and running. The website is up. It's looking even better than it did before. It's snappy and clean. And most of all, it's malware free. But The Carbonate, which was this kind of synth that came out as the previous incarnation of Modal Electronics was stuttering and faltering. They came out with the Carbonate, and then everything went to hell in a handcart. But they're back. The Carbonate is being made, and now it is being joined by, yes, the desktop module, which I assume will be rack mountable as well. I say assume, you mustn't assume really, but because that looks slightly different to me. I don't know. I'm so now unfamiliar. Actually, I tell a lie. It does look pretty much the same. Yeah. So Carbonate is kind of, a lot of people compared it with phase distortion synthesis, which was the synthesis method used by Casio back in the good old digital days. It puts all the power of the original synth into a desktop factor. It's got 2 oscillators, 56 digital core waveforms, 34, count them, 34 filter types, lots of performance options, works with the free Modal app software. By the way, just going to let you know now, because of all this news, it's just much easier for me to use the website I work for on screen, okay? Because it's got all the information. I don't have to keep flipping around. So I'm going to, sorry, apologies. It's going to be a gear news night. So
there are some differences though. If you look at the front panel, there's more buttons. So I think there's some menu diving on this. If you look at the buttons at the bottom and the number of knobs, you'll see there's 2 sets of
there's
4
probably
sets.
A shift thing going on there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Just to get it in. But
so
still,
there is some, but you know. Good.
Now, some people have been complaining about the price of this. This is scheduled to be around 729 for the module version. This is UK price, and 835 for the keyboard version. So it's about just over £100 cheaper, which is not bad, I don't think. Considering you're not getting, because the keyboard version, the keyboard mechanism is a FATAR mechanism, so they ain't cheap. Won't be available until June of this year, but you can pre-order it now. But if you can't wait and you really want it, then you can go for the keyboard version. It looks rather nice, sounds amazing. Any thoughts on this one, gentlemen?
Aside from the price, it's a good looking. It's terribly small. It would work well in the kind of spaces. So it looks like it's about the same kind of size as this.
Yeah.
So
hopefully it'll be 19-inch rack mountable. So
yeah, and it reminds me a lot of things like the Novations or whatever, where they just sound really good. The sound in this is excellent. So yeah, if it's your thing, it's really good to see them back on the block with another product. So well done them. I
saw a demo of this yesterday from the floor at NAMM. And whoever was playing it really knew their stuff, and it sounded very analog what they were playing. It had that rich warmth to it. So yeah, lovely. Kent, you've got the Argonate, which is the wave table.
Sold it.
Oh, you sold it, did you? Okay.
Yeah, that went quite a while.
Would one of these interest you?
No.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. No, but the thing is, for me, modules like that are for something to be like, put it over there and you access it from your keyboard controller or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So why has it got a joystick?
Yeah, but then...
I got lots of stuff in here where they have these controls that I can't reach.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's one for Wagyu to answer.
I mean, I could understand it on the keyboard one.
Yeah,
but that's but a mere detail.
It's a performance tool, isn't it?
Yeah, so. I think I've heard a couple of its presets, and it's lovely.
Yeah,
but yeah,
if you've got this sat on your controller, it's there, then the joystick obviously is more useful. But any rack mount module that has performance controls on it is a little odd.
Yeah,
I know you can rack mount this, but it looks like a desktop thing to me. And in a desktop format, that would work for me. I'd if I were to own one of these, I'd like having the joystick there. I think that's a good idea.
I think a cat would be better, wouldn't it?
As James points out, whatever the joystick does, it can be reassigned to your MIDI control.
Yeah. True enough.
So
true enough.
And we'll be covering
it's just one of those
like
things in here that annoys me, but that's because of the way I use the
Yeah.
gear. I mean, it's nothing against.
It's horses for courses, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think price-wise, Because do you remember when the Argon and the Cobalt came out, the keyboard versions were like $550 compared to the Korgs, which were a couple of hundred more. Same sort of thing, 37 key keyboard, sort of a platform thing. And I remember, we were saying at the time, why would you? The Modal stuff is incredibly well built for tar key bed, metal chassis, and 150, 200 pounds cheaper. Maybe that's why Modal got into all the trouble they did. And so this is a much more realistic price because it's closer to what you're paying for the Korgs.
I would have thought a certain percentage of that might have also had to do with them being a new company and they needed to make an impression.
True.
They needed to get sales.
Yeah.
So you got to try and be keen as possible.
Yeah.
Especially with your first launches.
Absolutely. Anyway, Carbonate M has been announced at NAMM and will be available. That's the keyboard version. It will be available from around June, but you can pre-order now, so you can get on the list, so to speak. Okay, so what else? Let's do this one. This is rather cool because, again, when we first covered the new Rhodes, and we've had the fantastic Dan Goldman on the show, the man behind the reinvigorated Rhodes company. The Rhodes Mark 8 is an exquisite, and I mean truly exquisite thing. If you've ever seen one in the flesh, you'll know exactly what I mean. It's fantastically well built from amazing quality components. Built right there in that there Leeds, in West Yorkshire. It is West Yorkshire, isn't it? God, I've just invoked the wrath
Sound
of...
like Leeds.
Didn't sound more like Lancaster. Anyway, so by the by, this is now a new compact alternative, as it says in the headline there, to the Mark 8. This is the new Rhodes Stage 61, and it's just bog standard, molded case. So we've got no price on this yet, but this is going to be a way more affordable, probably a harder wearing and more heart attack or less heart attack inducing, because you don't want to be knocking your Mark 8 around the gigs. This would be a great one to just stick on the van and keep your Mark 8 in the studio. No price on this yet because it is still currently sort of in the prototype stage, but it's a working prototype, I believe, that you can go and play at NAMM. It's there right now. My colleague Xavier went out and took all of these photos for us. I got a big shout out to the Gear News team who've been doing a fantastic job in getting this. So it's plain, it's bog standard. There's nothing, there really is nothing fancy about this at all. But that's, of course, is the point. So it's a lovely, lovely thing. According to no data available in the chat, they said on Sonic State that the price is a mere £1,600, which is what, 6th or 7th of the price of the Mark 8. So that's fantastic. But of course, that's represented in the fact that it's like a molded, I don't know if that's molded ABS or fiberglass, I don't know. But anyway,
that seems very keen.
It looks a very, very nice, it's plain and simple, dirty, but does the thing. Oh no, some people are saying that it's 6,000. Okay, that's a bit of a difference. Yeah, okay, yeah. $6,000. Okay, that would make more sense. Okay, so retract that. This will be about $6,000.
Can't even buy an old one for that. Come on.
No. So lovely thing. I know, Kent, you're a fan of certain versions of this, but if you were in the market for one, would you go for the Mark 8 or this? If money was no object, would you want something? If money was
no object, I'd have the Mark 8 all day long.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Or an original Mark 1 anyway.
Yes, true.
But there again, thinking about it, no, why would I bother? No, I'd have a Mark 8.
Yeah.
Because the Mark 8 is as good as, if not better, than the originals. It's one of those few companies where they just nailed it. I mean, admittedly, it shows in the price. But at least you're getting what you're paying for. Yeah, true. And boy, do you get it. Yeah. Very nice thing. But I think it's a good idea that they've done this because, it's a cheaper price point, cheaper in for those that want to just get into that classic Rhodes sound. I don't know whether there'll be any customization options on this one, as there are with the Mark 8, or whether it is really just a bread and butter. It looks bread and butter, doesn't it? Yeah, this particular one does. Volume, tone, ribbon. Indeed. Andrew, any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I can't see the point. I mean,
Okay.
I love Rhodes. If I was to get a Rhodes, I, like Kent, would get the Mark 8 because it's a beautiful handcrafted thing and they've done a fantastic job with it. I think it's got MIDI as well now, or is about to ship with MIDI. It's got all sorts of things.
Yes.
It's a brilliant thing and worth every penny and worth having just as a hand-built legacy something.
Yeah.
But we've got other keyboards coming up that are going to be cheaper than this, the same or more in terms of the number of keys, and do a great deal more for a lot less. And I'm not sure. And also just carry that doesn't look, even though it's cut down, it doesn't look like it's light. I think there are better alternatives for this kind of sound on stage. I think there just are. The 8, I get it, and I'd have it in the studio, and I'd just be in love with it and play it. This, no, can't see the point. Really can't.
Well, hopefully they've done their market research, and there is going to be a decent market for them. We wish them all the best with this one.
If it's 1,700, then they'll find buyers. If it's $6,000,
yeah, it's £6,000. Yeah, it seems to be
it's not going to
the
happen.
consensus.
Can't help
Okay.
feeling it's the latter.
Yeah. As you say, there are other keyboards out there that can do this and a lot more, but obviously not in quite the way. Now, have I got a video for this one? Yes, I have. We'll just play the beginning of this because it goes on for a few minutes. But these, should I say, are new from Roland.
Hi, Lawrence from Roland here, and this is the V-Stage, a premium gigging keyboard that blends cutting-edge sound modelling with a feel and flow that keeps you in the moment. The V-Stage offers two options, the 88 key model with a weighted hammer action keybed, and the 76 model featuring a new semi-weighted waterfall design. It features 4 advanced sound engines, an intuitive tactile interface with dedicated controls per engine, an effects section, and a master section with EQ and compression, and comprehensive, easy-to-use combinations of your favourite sounds and settings called scenes that allow for quick and seamless changes during performance.
So there you go. This is the Roland V-Stage in 76 and 88 key form, as he said there. 88 weighted hammer action, 76 key semi-weighted waterfall action, and how ironic that it started with a Rhodes kind of patch preloaded just after we've talked about that, because this will be a lot more affordable and a lot more versatile. And this is, I guess, what companies like Rhodes are up against. Gigging musicians don't necessarily want to carry a Rhodes around all the time, and so which is why the world kind of shifted to these sorts of things. I asked Richard Hilton, would he consider swapping out the stuff that he uses, because he's a big Roland Phantom user, and he said whilst these represent excellent value and they do amazing things, no was the answer, that he will stick with which is fair enough, because the Phantom is an even more versatile keyboard and he's triggering all sorts of samples. He was telling me the other day how he was triggering
String falls, wasn't it?
Yeah, strings and brass and all sorts of stuff.
And that's what's
Freak
missing
out.
on these.
Yeah.
You'd need another keyboard or a whole bunch of links to other kit. It suddenly becomes a much bigger thing. I'm sure some people will find these really good, but again, there's something else we're going to be seeing in a while, which probably trounces this. But the Roland make great stuff. If it's your thing and you don't need the strings and the brass and vocal samples and all that stuff, then fill your boots. But
there are a lot of keyboard players out there that they simply want organs, like Hammond kind of things.
Yeah.
They want pianos, both electric and acoustic, and they want the bread and butter synth stuff. And this gives them all of that. Plus, I mean, look at that control surface. I mean, it's peppered with all sorts of things from the
9 drawbars.
Drawbars, that's the word. Yeah. Which some synthesizers don't have. Nice big color screen, loads of controls, each section nice and clearly laid out. And I think, given the color of the end cheeks, they're going after a certain target market here, I think.
I was going to say, we might look at that next. But
yeah, so this uses the Supernatural engine for the V pianos. The synthesizer engine, I'm guessing, is going to be Zencore. And you can put the model expansions in here as well, so your V-Stage can emulate a Jupiter 8, a Juno, an SH101, a JX8P, JD800. So it, you know, if you can't find what you're looking for.
What are the SDZ sound packs? Is that sample based?
No, they're model expansions for the Zencore engine. So they're
Right,
if you're a member of Roland Cloud, you can download these expansion packs, and
Gotcha.
it's just lots of patches that you can use there. Lots of USB connectivity, audio connectivity at the back. It really is fully featured. And the prices are $3,000 for the 76 and $3,400 for the 88, and that's UK pounds. But you can see the other prices on the screen.
So that's quite expensive. For I mean, it's not, but for me, it's because it's missing that last bit. It's expensive.
Yeah, absolutely. But nice things. I think, you know, if I was somebody who'd sit down on the side of a stage, maybe at Ronnie Scott's or something like that, and I'm there, I've got a residency, I'll have one of these. This would be my thing there, but I'm not, so it won't be. But I can see the market for this, and I think it's very good. Ken, any thoughts on this one before we move on to the next red synth?
Only that I don't remember reading anywhere that Roland had bought Nord.
Well, they haven't yet, but they're certainly going after them.
They think they
sure.
have.
Yeah, they're certainly going
it's
after.
Very, very similar, isn't it? In its but I suppose is this the best layout? So
well,
I mean, it'll be
down to the
great,
player.
but for me, these are always appear to be, you know, increment from the last one, increment from the last one, increment from the last one, because it's done. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But the thing is, the Nord stages, or whatever, you know, whether it's a Nord stage or a Nord wave or a Nord lead, or the one that we're going to
grand.
Yeah, they are so commonly seen, and I think it's for two reasons. One, they're exceptionally well made and sound great. And B, they're red and they stand out on stage, and keyboard players like they like to be hidden by a bank of black and grey. If they've got a nice big shiny red thing, they stand out on stage. So talking of such things, let's move to the next one, which is the Nord Piano 6. Which has just been announced. This is in addition to the new Nord Organ 3 that came out last week or the week before. Excuse me. So it's been 4 years apparently since they brought the dual layer architecture from the Nord Stage to the piano line. It offers 2 independent piano layers and 2 sample synths. But it's got a redesigned front panel to make it easier to adjust. In fact, we do have a video. Let's have a look. Fancy pants, that's enough of that. You get the idea. It's a piano. It's a really, really nice one, though, but it doesn't have the premium key bed that the Grand has, but it still does have 88 and 73 keys.
They're still hammer action key beds.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're just not the premium super duper
premium,
one.
Yeah. This is going to be available to ship in May of this year, and prices start at €3,400 for the 73 and 3,800 for the 88. That's the manufacturer's recommended price. Lovely things, but you know, again, limited audience, limited user base because of what it does. But if pianos and maybe some layered pianos are your thing, and you want, you know, the best of the best, then I guess this is one of them.
I think, unlike the previous offerings, this does allow you. It does give you access to a huge sample library as well, so you can play the strings and the synths and all sorts of other things at the same time on this keyboard. So you have a bunch of packs that you can load into it. and you've suddenly got something which does most things you're going to need.
I'm seeing a waved hand at the moment. I'm going to bring Andy in. Andy, you're live.
Hey guys, this is Amos Gaines. Say hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Amos, how you doing?
Yeah, mate.
This guy is a legend,
Yeah.
an absolute legend.
Been in a NAMM in a few years, so nice to see all the folks again.
Good to
What's
see
he
you.
showing, Andy? What's he showing?
Right on.
Ah, it's suit and tie guy stuff, the new Sonics.
Sounds
Awesome.
great.
Thanks.
Sounds fantastic.
Thank
Is Suit around anyway?
I didn't see him yet,
No.
but
Okay.
you can't miss him when he's here. So
Eric's following you around, isn't he?
he is. Yeah. I have a mascot.
I bet he's changing his T-shirt as he goes from stand to stand.
He's trying to get me to go over here. Check this out.
Go on then.
All right.
Honestly,
wallpaper.
Amos Gaines on our show. How about that?
Yeah.
Trying to get here quickly. Sorry, my gimbal is acting up right now, so I'm hand holding it. Almost there.
Is that a sort of like medical sexual condition or something he's talking about?
What, when his gimbal's given up?
His gimbal's giving up.
That's
He
right.
walks with a limp.
Yeah.
I need a dongle for my gimbal.
But yeah.
There she is.
Ali
Hey.
Cassidy.
Hello.
Oh,
Live
wait,
on
j-
PSN.
Awesome.
Say hi.
It's great to be here.
I'm waving at you, Ali,
I'm
but you
working
can't
with
hear or
last
see
night,
me.
So I'm very incoherent.
No
But
problem.
It's great to be on the show. We have so much going on here this year with the ARC Foundation. It is the centennial of Alan Perlman's birth, and Dina has a whole slew of events planned. I'm pretty sure she'll be on the show at some stage, and it's really, really great to be here. Let's have a look at what we've got, right?
Go on then.
So,
Oh,
Mark
Mark
Little
one.
Brother. You don't see very many of these. Below it is the white-faced Mark 1 Audi. Underneath this is a pro soloist. This has been restored and it's being picked up by a certain well-known person today who shall be nameless. And then underneath this is an Omni 2. I am donating the Omni 2 to the foundation and the Little Brother as well. For folks who don't know out there, a lot of what Alan Perlman did was like education. He built the 2600 originally and the 2500 ended up in a lot of educational institutions. And Dina is carrying that forward. So a lot of these instruments will be co-located at the Record Co in Boston, where kids can walk in off the street. Folks who may not have seen these instruments before, they're super rare, some of them are really expensive, and for small dollars, they can get professional support in the studio and maybe record a track, which is absolutely, and that's why I'm on board with this. I really believe in the mission, and educating children is a huge big deal, kids coming up in the music. So that one, and this one, but don't tell Dina yet, she's getting it, okay? Our secret. It's going to be donated to the
Yeah,
Earth
mum's the word.
Foundation, and it's going to wind up being played.
She
and
just
we'll-
broadcast that on the internet to a couple of
Yeah. Oops.
There you go.
Great. Thank
Cool.
you. That's very nice.
Thanks, Ali.
Thanks everybody online.
Thanks,
Great to
darling.
hear you all. And looking forward to being on the show next week as a listener, not as a participant.
Tell her she's coming on as a guest soon as well.
You're coming as a guest soon, he said.
Oh, nice one.
Whether you like it or not.
Oh, look who's showing up.
Hey!
Dina!
There she is.
Lisa Bell's
Hey!
Lisa! Oh, they're all there.
Everybody's here today.
Oh, I can't wait.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by.
Say hi to Robbie and everybody.
Hey. I'm waving. They can't
Yeah.
see me,
He's
but I'm
waving.
waving.
That's cool. Lisa Belladonna's here. Nice.
Oh, Lisa, love Lisa. Can't
All
wait
right.
to see her in Berlin.
Yeah, we also have a Rhodes Corona here.
Is that Drew Schlesinger? That's Drew,
Oh.
isn't it?
Ooh, we got a Rhodes
You don't see
Corona.
too many ARC chromas here.
Oh, chroma.
There's one here.
Nah.
Superb.
Ryan Hawkins
Was that
here, you know,
Drew Schlesinger?
Chroma and restored it himself.
Nice.
Same with the 2600.
What, the famous tennis ball manufacturer?
That's
Nice,
lovely.
nice.
Look at that. No, I thought just to Dina's left there was Drew. There with the jacket. Is that Drew?
Robbie,
Behind
I
Dina.
just will
It's Drew
see you
Schlesinger.
Today, of course. Are we on the Focus Network right now?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. How you doing? Oh, my goodness. Oh, we're going to have a treat. Lisa's going to check it
Hey,
out.
Lisa.
Hi, how are you?
Say hi to Robbie, Pro Synth Network.
I'm Robbie.
Oh, that's it. Day's made. I'm off.
Oh,
She just told you to fuck off, actually.
Yeah, I'm off. Brilliant.
all right, guys.
All right.
I'll be here.
Thank you for that.
No problem.
Excellent. Well, we'll drop you off now. We'll do a couple more news things and we'll come back to you in a bit.
Okay, next.
Cool. Our resident roving camera at NAMM. Fantastic. Andy Synth Addict, Dina, Lisa, Drew, Ali, Amos. For fuck's sake, Amos Gaines. If you do not know who Amos Gaines is or what he has done, wasn't he like the last person that Bob mentored? He was mentored. Yeah,
makes
he was absolutely. He's mind-blowingly talented man. Anyway. So let's crack on. We just finished on the Nord grand piano. You're muted, Andrew, so you're making all these hand gestures.
Here we go. The only thing we didn't cover was the price. So the 73 note is...
Oh, we did. I thought we did.
€3,400 and the 88
and
model
3,800. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So they're not cheap things.
They're not cheap, but they are very good for what they are.
Lovely
so I guess
piano, though.
They are.
Yes, it's a very focused instrument. Let's talk about more hardware. Well, let's do this one because it's very related, I guess, in a way. And this is new from Viscount. Do you remember Viscount, the Italian manufacturer that at one point did they work with Oberheim or did they do a license?
Yes,
there was.
They made the OB12 together.
That's
didn't
it.
they?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
there's one of them in the toilet as well.
Still. What, an OB12?
An OB12, and next to it is a proper tonus up 2600, which Dina could have borrowed because it's still here from October.
Jeez. Well, this is the Legend One, which is their new organ. It's a stage keyboard, but it's primarily an organ because that's what they're most known for. But it also has a whole bunch of other sounds as well. Waterfall keys. Unweighted action because that's what organ players prefer. So again, this is targeted at a specific market. But if you are, if you like the organ stuff, if all what you do is based around sort of Hammond and Farfisa and Vox and all that kind of stuff, then this has got to be the one for you. Features their tone wheel modelling technology. In addition to 6 Hammond varieties, there are 3 pipe organs, a Vox, a Farfisa transistor organ emulation as well, dual drawbars, additional 2 drawbars for the pedal, percussion, chorus vibrato, rotary speaker simulation, all included. Yeah, very nice. And it offers an 11-pin connector for an external Leslie, if you so require.
But the other thing which it offers is a huge number of other things. So it has pianos, electric pianos, which are amazing. They're really good. Check out the videos. Synths, they've got some brilliant synths, lead sounds, etc. in there. For me, this is the closest of, this is the kind of thing I think for as a stage thing, I would use this first, not because it's an organ, but because it does the other stuff so well as well. It's a really good, I really like what they've done with this. Let's
have a listen. Here we go.
Yeah.
You get the idea. We could go on longer. Yeah, but it was very nice. And
the piano sound that comes in a little while, and then the lead synth sound that comes over the top of that.
Yeah,
they're good. They're
very good. Yeah, very good. And compared to the other things we've been looking at that do a lot of this kind of stuff, only $1,790 for the 61 key, and only just under $2,000 for the 73. So representing
what's that in real money.
That would be
about 1,600 quid and around about 1850,
17,
like
1750, 1,800.
It's not bad at all. And it's in that design
really
that I've always, that VP330.
Yeah.
I've always liked that.
It's very nice. Yeah.
I think this is unexpected and rather lovely. I think it's a bit left field.
But
like it.
again, if this is your thing, then this is a really good thing. If you know what I mean, if that makes sense. If this is your thing, that's good. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. That was the Viscount Legend One, which is, as they say, more than an organ. It absolutely is. Let's see.
More than an organ.
I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's do a quick flick through a bunch of things that we don't necessarily need to spend huge amounts of time on, because they maybe are just like firmware updates, but they're interesting.
Oh, okay.
The first firmware update I'm going to mention, which I haven't got the page up for because they don't have a page for it, is the Behringer LM drum, which only came out. It started shipping at around the beginning of this month. They've already updated the firmware, not just to fix a few bugs, but to actually add functionality. Do you remember Roger Lynn put a thing out on his website a couple of weeks ago, just making a comment on this Behringer and also the GeForce one? And he mentioned that they'd approached him, they'd sent him one, he'd had a look at it, and he said, one of the things you would have thought they would have done, given the fact that it's 40 odd years on, is correct some of the errors I made that I couldn't correct on my one, such as not giving everything a tuning knob on the Lynn drum. On the LM1, they're all at the back, and you could, if you asked Bruce for it, he'd put them all on the front for you, could tune everything. But on the Lynn drum, you could only do, snare, toms, and congas. So they heard this, and credit where credit is due, they now have made every single sample tunable via the main screen with the sort of the central control rather than the dedicated controls. So you can, and this was unexpected. You've now got a coarse and fine tune option. So it's not just standard. If you hold the tap button down, you can do fine 1 cent, adjustments, or just on its own 20 cent adjustments in either direction. A few bug fixes and a few other things, and they've made all of that tuning controllable by MIDI CC, so you can automate your tuning within the DAW as well.
That's interesting.
And it's a free update, and it came out today, and I've been playing with it because I got one. 369 quid from Andertons.
Just madly good.
Made.
Good.
Made.
And they've brought out an update. That's great. Really good. Well done.
So that's an update that we've just heard. The next update is this one, which has just been announced yesterday, for the fantastic, and I have to say that because it is brilliant. I've got one. I've been using it since last year, and it hasn't set a foot wrong. The Arturia AudioFuse 16 rig audio interface has now had an update, another free update up to version 2, and the headline addition in this is that you can now use this for immersive audio monitoring. That means that you can have a 9.1.6 Atmos surround sound setup using this, and as long as you've got all the speakers and as long as your DAW supports that, you can now use this audio interface, and it's got all the controls to set up your delay times and your speaker distances and all the calibration stuff, and all of that has just been chucked into this thing for free, along with, again, a few bug fixes and updates and improvements.
And this is huge, because to get into Dolby Atmos or any of the surround, the big surround formats, the hardware you need and the way you set it up and the different boxes you need to put together, it's expensive and it's perplexing and it's difficult. This is included in the price of the AudioFuse.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's genius, and I think it's wonderful. I think this is gonna turn a lot of heads in the studio.
This is truly a synthesizer user's dream interface, because it's got those 16 analog inputs, plus you've got dual ADAT inputs as well, and then you've got 10 individual audio outputs plus the ADAT outputs as well. It's
and
stunning.
The extension boxes, which you can put your additional inputs or outputs or whatever you want.
Exactly.
It's a great thing.
So it's a very, very impressive update. And I don't have a multi-channel thing here in the studio anymore, but so that update is really fairly useless to me at the moment. But some of the other updates, for example, the startup and shutdown times have all been massively improved. If anybody runs their studio off a master switch like I do, you can now just not have to worry about anything. You just leave it on, and it powers back on as soon as you turn the rest of the studio back on. Andy will be with you in just a second. I can see you. It looks like you're having a fit, but we will be there.
That's
just
not
a
what I
second.
thought he was doing.
No, well, I was being polite. But yeah, so little things like that. It just make lots of improvements. Is a really good, very good, in fact.
And
Audio
at the
interface.
price, I mean, just before we get to Andy, at the price,
Yeah.
this is it's under £1,000, I think, or around about £1,000.
It's just over £1,000.
Just over.
985 UK, 1149 euros.
And if you go anywhere else to get this level of functionality for Dolby, just for Dolby Atmos,
Yeah.
you can be spending anything up to 7 or 8K.
DC
I mean,
coupled audio outputs as well for
Yeah.
modular.
This is game changing.
Great
I
stuff.
hate to say it, but I've said it.
Yeah.
Game changing. It's a great thing.
Indeed. Right. He's been having a fit on stage.
You got to hear this. Lisa's playing the synth. It sounds amazing.
Go on, Lisa.
Can you play some more, please? Robbie wants to hear it. It sounds amazing.
Okay. ARC 2500 filters? No, these are CEM filters. Oh, okay. Yeah. Discrete LFO, discrete VCO
Go for a lexicon there, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I'm guessing that sound's not supposed to be there. Or is it somewhere else?
Using my speakers.
Glorious. Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa. Cheers, Andy.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I just want-
Right.
I don't want you to miss that. It was very good.
No, it's always great. Thank you very much, Andy. Drop you into the green room. There we go.
I've got two chromas here, and neither of them sound like that.
No. I have had the great honour and privilege of watching that person play close up, and it is magnificent. If you ever get to see Lisa in the flesh play live, please do. It's a glorious.
You love her.
I do love her.
Want to hug her and
I always hug
kiss
her. She gives great hugs as well.
marry
She gives
her.
amazing hugs, and she always wears. As you see, she always has fantastic bright red lipstick. So when you walk away, you get, and you don't wash for days. Anyway, I'm more than necessary. I got very excited the other day. I had a little chat with her, and I said, "Are you coming to Super Booth again?" And the answer was very quick and very short. Yes.
Cool.
Get in. Right. So the next
don't
thing
say
we're going to
that.
talk about is another. It's another update. It is to the wonderful PWM Mantis, which is this wonderful kind of, as they bill it there, the evolution of the Wasp and the Oscar. Can I also just say that the OSC Limited, so the Oxford Synthesizer Company Limited, which of course was responsible for Oscar, has now come under the control of PWM. So Paul is looking after, which I think is a great transition. You couldn't, because obviously this had lots of connections with the great Chris Huggett as well. So this new update makes it now a fully polyphonic four-voice synthesizer. Gunville. Thanks to the firmware, it has now 4 voices of polyphony. Already powerful, blah blah blah, has this quad mode. I've yet to play it and hear it in action with this new feature, but it's supposed to be very, very good. In quad mode, you have 16 simultaneous oscillators playing. It really is a 4-voice polysynth. Not bad for an update on that. It's a very impressive sounding synthesizer.
And it sounds different. From, it's a
Yes,
different
it's
sound on
completely
this to
unique.
an awful lot of anyone else's.
Yeah, completely unique.
Yeah.
Yeah, as
is
Half God says in the chat, couldn't get near it at Bristronica. You can't. Any show I think that Paul turns up at, it's always got loads of people around it. It's a very, very nice, and as you say, very. I remember when Ben and I were at Superbooth a couple of years ago, and they'd got the prototype for this. They got. I think I've told this story before, they had 2 prototypes, one in the unit and one out of the unit. What we didn't realise was the box that looked like it was all in the unit was controlling the one that was out of the box. And so Ben and I are twiddling knobs on this keyboard, nothing's happening. We're going, we're not very good at this synthesizer thing, are we? And then somebody comes along and starts twiddling the knobs on that, and all of a sudden the sound starts, oh, that's okay. Fair enough. So, yeah, but you can go and play with the proper one now. It's there. So, yeah, great news for PWM and the Mantis. Now, let's see, what other lightweight things can we just skip through, because I've got a few biggies that I'm sure lots of people are expecting us to
Roto?
talk about. No, we'll talk about that because that's an interesting piece of hardware. That this, however, is another update. The MPC 3 update has been around in beta for some while, or beta if you're in America. Either way, sorry, I thought Andy was waving his hands, but it's somebody he's looking at demonstrating playing a keyboard.
I think he's calling a cab.
Yeah. So the update is now officially available. It's version 3.4.1. Adds a whole bunch of new features. The final version is now available for free, and you can download that onto your various AKAI MPC pieces of hardware that it supports. So that's available. And I think there was this. This is quite... Let's quickly do this. I thought this was very interesting. AKAI, seeing as we're on the subject, and Native Instruments, 2, I would say, quite competing companies, certainly in the pad-based music production tool market, have joined forces. Not quite in the way that you might think, but they have come together, and you'll now be able to play Native Instruments and sample libraries on your AKAI MPC.
Specific ones that have been created for it. Yeah, exactly.
But it's still, that content is now available on MPC-based instruments, such as the MPC keys that you see there in the picture, and of course the One Plus, and I'm imagining a few others too. So that's an interesting collaboration because it's essentially NKS compatibility. But given that both AKAI and Native Instruments have skin in that game with the Machina and the MPCs, that they're collaborating is fair warms the cockles.
I think it's actually, again, that's really big news. It's really, really big news in that others, they're also partnering. NI are also partnering with other companies, I believe.
Well, this is the next bit of news, is that Native Instruments have announced further, they've expanded NKS support to not just AKAI, but Novation, Nectar, Korg, and M Audio. So that NKS format, which we've often said is a very clever format, is spreading.
And I think the really interesting one to watch for here is going to be the Korg collaboration, because they've already got their, is it the Key Stage with polyphonic aftertouch with a display. If it's talking to NI directly, then I believe they're going to be displaying exactly what's going on.
Well, yeah, because it already has that. What was the phrase they call it? It's where it exchanges information in both directions. So
yeah.
I can never property something, isn't it?
I can't remember either, but it's a really, where are we?
I'm sure. Tom, come on, Tom, you're in the chat. Tell us.
I'm just looking it up now.
Property something.
But it's,
we know
doing that with Korg, that's one thing. I mean, there are others. The M Audio one is okay. The Novation one is okay, but they don't have the same kind of displays. They don't have as much feedback. So the AKAI one with the 37 key is a really budget way in, especially with the bundle they give you with it as well. And the 37 key Pro at 666 quid. And with the Korg one, you've got the MIDI 2 plus polyphonic aftertouch plus all of this. You also get a big bundle with that. There's we talked about this about a year or so ago, where we thought that NKS might become the default format for an awful lot of people, and it looks like they're sort of making moves in that direction. I think it's a really good thing.
Yeah. It's property exchange was the which is very similar to what NKS does.
Or bidirectional if you're a human.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
We know what we're talking about. There we go. So that's another little bit of news. And another firmware update that was announced this week was this one from Nonlinear Labs. Now, I swear blind, I saw at least a polyphonic aftertouch feature of this at Super Booth last May. So maybe that was like a pre-release version, because I remember they had a controller keyboard in front of one of the C15s that was doing polyphonic aftertouch, and I sat and watched Manny play around with it. But now the firmware is baked and done, and it's out there for you to download onto your C15 if you're very lucky enough to own one of these. It is the most fantastic synthesizer. I mean, it's 2-op FM, but you would never believe the sounds that they get out of this thing. It's just astounding. It's a real player's synthesizer, and it looks, the dog's leathery bits as well. I mean, it really does. It's just a gorgeous thing, and it sounds incredible. This is the synthesizer. I don't know if they still do this, but when they first launched this, you made the application to buy it, and then part of the purchase process is that one of the guys, most of the time Stefan himself, Stefan Schmidt, would phone you up or have a Zoom call with you to ascertain whether you and the instrument were right for each other, because it was such a unique thing that they wanted to make sure that you were the right person for this keyboard. So you would have like an hour-long call, and then you would also get support, some incredible support. You could also buy this on a kind of a rental scheme. So you would pay so much a month, and if after 6 months you decided you didn't want it, didn't get on with it, you could send it back, and they would refund you what you paid, less, whatever. So it really great model of business. The new firmware update doesn't only just add polyphonic aftertouch, it also doubles the voice count from 24 to 48. But if you don't want to double the voice count, you can use that extra processing power to double the sample rate of the sound engine instead.
To 96k.
To 96 kilohertz.
That's a good move.
Not that I think it probably needs that, but some people might think it does. But it's incredible. It's a very clever, simple yet powerful update for what is a very clever, simple but powerful synthesizer. There is a video where Tim goes through all the details, but it's quite a lengthy one. But if you want to have a look at it, I thoroughly recommend going to their site and having a chat, or just having a watch of that. And if you get the chance to go and play one of these, it's an incredible synth. It really, really is. Have either of you had to play with one of these at all?
No, I haven't. But I've spoken to him about it, and I have over the last couple of years come that close to pushing. Yeah, he said, if you want one, you can have one. For some reason, don't know why, but I love it. I love the idea of it. But it's having, as much as anything else, it's having the time to get used to it. Someone like Manny, who's already embedded in this world.
And his sound bank for this is incredible.
Yeah, it's natural, but you're going to need to spend a lot of time getting to know it. But my goodness me.
Wonderful thing, it is.
I'm bound to get a go on one when somebody backs their Toyota Prius over it. Accidentally forgot didn't put it in the back of the motor.
All right, let's.
And I love it's got 2 ribbon controllers. I love that.
Yeah,
that's a good thing.
Right, let's see what we got. So we are just at the top of the first hour of the show. Hope you're enjoying it so far. We've got Carpet Cam at the moment in the green room, so we'll come to Andy when he's with someone or something that's interesting. I guess we really got to talk about probably what is the biggest news of NAMM so far. So as we all know, Behringer have gone back to NAMM for the first time in a decade. They haven't been. The last time they were anywhere close to NAMM, they weren't. They were about 50 miles away at a remote location where they were debuting a whole bunch of things. It's right, sort of at the start of their kind of foray into synthesizer. I think they had the Odyssey there. They had the MS-101. Didn't they have the string machine the 340, I think they call it. There's about 3 of those things there, and they might have had a drum machine there as well. But they are now, and they've got a huge, I don't know if you've seen the stand, is huge. It's 2 levels, there's steps that go on upper level. They've got all of their current gear, and they've got 3 prototypes. 2 of which we've seen before, and we'll cover those briefly in just a moment. But you all probably know why I'm going this way. They have announced...
C Labs... What?
Yeah, C15. No. So, this was a surprise to some, but for anybody that kind of follows what Behringer do, this wasn't particularly a surprise. Given that they bought Tears for Fears DX1 some years ago, and it was in a very sorry state. Obviously, they managed to get it going again, and so it wasn't really a surprise that they decided to do their version of it. And their version of it, might I say, let me just bring up a full sort of thing. If you look at an original DX1, which I'm very fortunate to be able to do every day, this is mostly, I would say 95% in terms of the UI anyway, is identical. It's got the same two line screen. You've got all the buttons. You've got all the LED displays at the top. By all accounts, it's 32-note polyphonic. That's 16 voices per engine, dual engines. It supports, I believe, all of the DX functionality and SysX. But it's also got an effects section, which I think is a great move because, as most people know, DXs do come alive when they're fed through a little bit of chorus and delay or reverb. But it's also got DAC selection, so you can switch between a vintage DAC and a 16-bit DAC. And it's also got a CS80 inspired analog filter, one for every voice. So it's got 32 of these filters that can be applied, and it's supposedly a CS80 style filter to this. It's got an SD card slot in place of the memory card slots. On the back, it is virtually identical to the original. You've got 3 balanced XLR outputs, 3 unbalanced jack outputs, A, B, and P. A and B for each of the engines, P, which is combined. I never understand why it was called P, but anyway.
Program performance.
That'll be it. Yeah. Portamento, sustain, modulation, and volume foot control sockets, exactly the same. It's got a breath controller, albeit a 1/4-inch jack, not the 3.5-inch. Full MIDI connectivity, and of course USB. You'll
3.5-inch.
3.5-inch, 3.5 mil. Sorry. Inches on the brain. See, this is the thing. We talk about 1/4-inch, but we never. Well, I rarely call it an 1/8 inch. Yeah, you know what I mean. Anyway,
3.5. Yeah.
Got a fan in the back, which is interesting. But I suppose if you've got 32 analog filters in there, you're going to be generating a bit of heat.
Yeah.
But you know, the buttons have been reversed, so the colouring is on the bottom and not on the top. So I guess that's one way that you can get around any sort of dodgy copying issues. But you've got all the sliders in the right places, all the buttons in the right places for the voice memories and the performance memories. You know, as somebody who plays around with the DX1 frequently, this is a pretty damn good replica. Now, it's fully operational. Well, I say fully operational. It is operational, but apparently the effects unit isn't implemented yet, and it's about a year away in terms of when this is going to be released. There's no price, but do remember that Uli has been quoted as saying that he would never sell a synthesizer for more than $1,500. So I guess that's what we're going to be looking at, or less. I would imagine if this has the polyphonic aftertouch keybed that the UBXA has, then I reckon we're probably looking at an initial price of around $1,200. Would be a reasonable
12
starting
to 14,
price.
yeah.
But even if it was that, it probably wouldn't be bad. And then you'd probably see it go down to sub 1,000. Quite
and
easily.
isn't it supposed to be taking the SysX as well from?
Yeah, allegedly. So it would be interesting to see. So I'm going to throw my hat in the ring. I have no shame. When they ask for beta testers for their hardware, they ask for people who own the originals. Seeing as I've got one here, hat's getting tossed in the ring. Of course, it's probably about half the size of the real thing as well, and probably a quarter of the weight. Much more portable. I'm going to go to my friend Mr. Spong, who I have this lovely DX1 relationship with, and you've seen and pissed on a few of these, the originals anyway. What are your thoughts on it? The DX7 engine has been replicated many times by many people.
Yeah.
Do we need a DX1 in 2025?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Explain yourself, sir.
They are very highly sought after.
Yes.
Yes, you go, oh, yeah, it sounds like a DX7. You go, yeah, but
It
doesn't.
It doesn't.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So, and any DX1 owner will tell you, and there ain't that many of them, let's face it, will tell you that, oh my God, that processor goes in the bin.
Yeah.
Because that's it, end of it, end of days. And rather than see these disappear off the face of the planet, Behringer come along and go, well, this is what we do. There you go, mate. So, yeah, welcome it. And the pricing is so keen as well. I mean, come on. I mean, the last one went for, oh, Christ. I just remembered going, yeah, it's leaving my workshop. What did it go for?
Was it around 30?
29.
Yeah, it was just under. Yeah, maybe
29.
Yeah,
right. And working.
Yeah.
And all the rest of it. But this is the thing: is that something that goes bang in it. Anything critical.
Well, so Wagyu makes a good point here because he's interested, and I am as well, on how they're replicating the DX7 engine. Are they using a couple of instances of DexEd running on something modern like a Raspberry Pi? Just like you, I hope they're not. I really do.
I think that they're probably taking it a step further, because I think ideally you need to take it a step further, because of the Poly AT implementation and all the rest of it. But the real the thing that bothers me about Behringer, we do all the laughing and all the jokes and everything else in it, and yes, some of the Behringer gear has been, Jesus Christ, a strong wind's going to break this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd fart on it and the knob would fly off. So this whole sort of, what would happen if Behringer actually stopped and went, do you know what? Why don't we make something original? Let's do something of our own. And what would they be capable of doing? Because this was not easy to achieve.
No.
Right? By any stretch of the imagination. The 80, this is why the BS80 hasn't come out, because they've gone, shit, this is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. We'll just push that to one side. What's the next big? I actually remember saying to you, perhaps they'll do the DX1 instead.
Yeah,
well, didn't I?
I remember that.
I remember that because it being digital, they go, yeah, it's more our neck of the woods anyway.
Yeah. I honestly, I don't think this will be as simple as like a Raspberry Pi board running 2 instances of DexEd, because if they wanted to do that, they could have done that with all of their synthesizers, and yet they don't. They do, if Roger Lin's statement is to be believed, and there's no reason to not believe it. He said when he opened up the LM drum that they sent him, he said, this is virtually identical to all of my circuitry. So, and that's got analog chips in it. It's got the analog filters in it. So,
yeah,
this is very interesting for me because of my love and my history with, the DX range.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how this ends up, because this is about a year away, by the way. So we're not going to see this until 2026. And that was very honest of them to come out and say that yesterday. They said that on Sonic State. So fingers crossed we'll see this next year. And the guy
Well,
it
makes sense because they've left Behringer have left people hanging quite a few times now, and nothing generates more disinterest than being promised something and then not showing up. So yeah, it makes sense for them to actually own up to like, look, this isn't for a year yet, you know.
Even if I'm not lucky enough to get in on the old beta testing squad, I might just buy this. Well, because it's a lot more convenient.
Yes, we see. This is the thing. This is the whole thing about, because all this, you know, the romance with vintage, bloomed. It's starting to subside now because people are going, God, these things are a pain in the ass to look after.
Yeah.
Right. And it's all overpriced now, and it's leaving the vintage neck of the woods and moving into the antique neck of the woods instead. Which is the joy of owning.
Yes.
It's not the joy of playing. It's the joy of owning and having them corner go, oh, look what I own. You know. And that's where the original stuff is going to now. And so this kind of stuff coming out is it's what's needed.
Before Andy, I'll let you come in. I just want to say one thing, otherwise I'll forget it. The one joy, well, there's many joys of playing a DX1, which I've discovered. It is a beautiful thing to play. I probably derive the same pleasure as you do, Kent, from playing a CS80 compared to, you know, the Polybrute or the Montage or whatever. That keyboard, that wooden keyed, weighted hammer action keyboard with its polyphonic aftertouch is, I would say, if not half, almost half of the whole experience, because it demands that you play it in a certain way that draws the very best of the instrument out. Yeah. So there's no way on this earth that Behringer would ever put a fully weighted wooden keyboard in this thing. So I hope that they've done the right thing and put the Poly AT keyboard in, because that will get people most of the way. But I'll tell you one thing, this will never, and I'm not saying this to detract from it, it will never be the same as playing a real DX1, but it will get you very close to the ballpark.
Well, unless you play it via the DX1.
Or you can do that. But then the DX1 didn't transmit poly aftertouch.
No, but there are other weighted keyboards.
Yes,
that do.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, you know, for the full experience.
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, I think this has been done. I think it's been executed very well. I don't know whether this is what it will look like at the end, come the production model. I think it still looks a little bit like, I mean, I know that the DX1 user interface was very unique, and I hope they retain that bit. I mean, it's even got look at on the left hand side. Not only has it got the algorithm maps, but underneath it, it's still got the job list.
Yeah.
So are they going for the full replication of the quite clunky operating system? Although muscle memory is a fantastic thing with that, you know, because you eventually just
well, it's technically a prototype. It may change a little.
Exactly. So anyway, Andrew, sorry, I cut you off. Please go ahead.
So, no, but it was well worthwhile you doing it, because you covered some really good stuff there. So, I was I bought a DX5 when it came out, and I only got rid of it and towards the end of last year, middle end of last year, because I regret it enormously. And the thing about this is, you're right about the DX1, like with the CS80. You know, and or the difference between this and the the M7X and the M6X. The keyboard makes a huge difference, but I was used to the DX5, and I loved that waterfall, that really slick keyboard on it. If I and all I wanted all the time was to have my DX5 just to make it polyphonic aftertouch, because I could have used it in that way. Now this gives me the displays that I yearned for up at the top.
Yeah.
And but otherwise is identical to the original one, it seems, and certainly to the 5. But it's got these filters as well and some effects. If it's going to be in a year's time, I'm going to be on the list to buy it. I'll just throw it out there. I'm going to be on the list to buy it because I miss my DX5, which was getting old and cranky. And
what's it called, Kent?
Yeah, I'll have this all day, every week. Thank you very much. I think this is a great thing. I really do.
I'm really looking forward to
I won't be buying one because I actually physically hate DX1s.
Yeah, well, you got an aversion to.
Well,
For
do you
good
like the DX5?
In the same way that a proctologist doesn't find a woman's arse sexy.
You can't really go anywhere from that. Just to get Synth Samurai excited in the chat. I don't know if he saw, but I went for one of those.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Got to say, I'm very impressed. In fact, so impressed I might in fact do
Buy
a
the company.
separate video on it. Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah.
But no, it's a very cool machine. I have to say. So yeah, BX1. We shall see. We've got a year to wait, and I can't wait to see and hear the finished article, and then we can reserve judgment until that point. I wonder what Yamaha might have to say about this. I don't think they will, to be honest. I don't think it's.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because they could do this.
They could have done, but they never did.
They never did. And
Same
it's
with
like
Roland. They could have done all this stuff, but they never did.
it's like we've been talking about this beastie. Here we go. This beastie here.
Yeah.
If they use we've talked about this often. The ANX engine is a great engine. Imagine if they just created a synth, a waterfall, a semi-weighted keyboard, 76 notes with all of the ANX controls exposed, 16 voices. That would be a seller as well. But they don't. It's odd. You kind of have to wonder why they don't do these things. So I'm not sure we'll hear too much from them on this.
No.
But
No, not at all.
But this has really caused quite the buzz. So I got wind of this. I'm not going to say who or where, but I got wind of this the day before NAMM opened from a good friend, and I immediately I messaged Ali. I said, as soon as you get there, can you go and have a look at see what's on the Behringer stand? Unfortunately, Ali got delayed, so she didn't get there till much later. But the news of this broke, and our guys on the ground, our Gear News guys on the ground, managed to get. So the photos you've just been seeing there are, apart from that one. So yeah, these are from our friend Xavier. You can go and listen to this, albeit briefly, on the Sonic State video, which is there. But yeah, our guys went and got these pictures, and I wrote this up straight away, and we broke a whole bunch of website records. And it's not because of my writing; it's simply because of this synthesizer. It just the world kind of.
I think it's your writing.
No, I don't think so. Anyway, yeah. So very interesting. What else? One
other question for this though. Something which I was going to ask if one of the guys in the chat, Wiggy or someone, I'm puzzled by. The thing about the DX5 and the 1 and even the 7 was the way you created envelopes was you created an envelope in the operator system within the algorithm that created the filtering, what approximated to filtering and what approximated to amplitude as well, right? I'm not sure. I'd love to know whether or not that's still going to be there, and or the filters are going to be secondary to that, whether they're going to be, you can have it as the original synth and then plus the digital, the analog filters or what. I'm not quite sure how they're going to do that, but that's interesting. I want to know what they're going to do with that.
My guess would be that it would be 100, well, as 100% faithful as you can be to the original, and then everything goes through the filter. A bit like with the Op6, you can create your FM patches and then send those through the various filters on the Op6. I think this will be.
So you can either do pass through or
I would say, well, yeah. I think the filter on a DX synth would have to be sort of like the next step in the signal path, rather than a part of the actual sound design.
That's clever, you see. That's clever.
But it's got the effects. I think that's a really good thing, because had the DX7 Mark II had effects, would the D50 have been as successful as it was? Good question. We never know that, because that essentially is what killed the Mark II DX7. The fact that D50 not only had sample based sounds, but it had an effects unit, and it just made everything sound amazing. But anyway, BX1, let's see. Looking forward to seeing that completed. Also on the stand, very close by, was this, which is the first time I think we've seen these actually out kind of like in the wild and not just pictures. So we've got the Pro 16, which is essentially their version of the Prophet 5/10. And then on the other side there, you've got the JT16. Now, both of these are non-functioning prototypes, so there's no power supply, nothing. You can just have a look at them if you're there. Yeah, so they're clearly coming. They're looking quite good. They're looking like the things that they're aping. So yeah, we shall see. Can't really say anything more about this because it's just pictures.
And whilst we're here, I will make an observation. I get why the DX1 clone, the BX1, can go out, because Yamaha haven't done anything with it for years, and don't intend to. The same with the JT16, the Jupiter 8. They've kind of emulated that. Roland have got their own versions of this in lots of different things, so they've done their own thing with this, and this isn't current, and they're not going to make the Jupiter 8 again. I do have a problem though with the Pro 16, because it's an extant manufacturer that's still making models that they've just released the version 4 of the Pro 5. So it's those practices that I really do question Yuli over. I love the fact he's democratizing stuff, and I like the DX1, but these are things which are never going to appear again. The Pro 16. That rankles. That rankles.
Well, the consumer is the decider, and I guess, as we've mentioned, and I don't want to get into huge debates about it again, but Behringer skirt around the edges of legality. Very occasionally they step over, they get the wrist slapped, and they come back again. What rankles with many is the ethics, and unfortunately, you can't. There is no law against ethics. So if you think they're right or wrong, that's something for you to decide as an individual.
They're doing what they are legally able to do, and that's they're not legally wrong. The ethics of it, I don't know. That's biting into another manufacturer's. That's absolute. Clearly that is a profit. When it's already when Sequential are already producing profits. So I find that a bit smelly.
Tom from Synth Anatomy, who runs a fantastic website of the same name, must be thinking on the same wave level as me, because literally queued up was what he's just asked if we could talk about in the chat. And I've used Tom's website. I hope he doesn't mind. But this is the Donner L1. I'm assuming it's Donner or Donor. No, because Donor would have one N. Anyway, the Donner L1. This is a rather funky idea, and I kind of like it. So there's no getting away from the inspiration, certainly from a visual perspective of where this came from, although it's not identical. It's got a couple of envelopes. It's separate envelopes, but it does very much look like an SH101. But the best thing about this, let me just get rid of... what have I done? There you go. The best thing about this is that it splits in half, which I think is great. So you've got the synthesizer module, and then you've got the keyboard module, and I think they magnetically clip together. And I guess the benefit of this is, A, you can buy one with the keyboard, and then all you've got to do is just buy further modules and just clip those on. You've already got a keyboard. But I want to know, and I didn't check. Hang on a minute. How do I get back? So there you go. There you go. I've just done that. Yeah. I'm sure Wagyu is asking this, or if he hasn't, he will be. Is that unit, that top off, is that 19-inch rack mount size? Could you put a couple of rack ears on that and stick that in your rack? That would be interesting. But anyway, I think this is a great concept. Forget what the... I mean, I'm sure the synth sounds amazing. I haven't really heard any proper demos of it. It's only pre-sale is $330 for the pair. Or you can just buy the synth module on its own for $237.99, or the keyboard for $110. I mean, price-wise, this is incredible. Haven't really heard the synth, but what a great concept.
It is a good concept. I wonder how long the breaking it apart magnetically and putting it back together will last. But Donna have been gaining prominence. They've started out with a few pianos that were, and then a bit better, and then a bit better, and they've moved on to other things. So this is interesting. Be interesting to see Behringer having to put up with some competition, because that drives a whole bunch of stuff, doesn't it? I like I like the idea of it breaking apart.
Yeah,
I do.
It's very
I think
clever.
that is quite novel.
Yeah, very clever. Ken, what do you reckon?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Typically verbose answer.
Yeah, it's just, but the thing is, SH101, man, it's supposed to have a key grip. You're supposed to wear it around your shoulders.
Yeah, that's true.
You're supposed to dance amongst your washing in very, very, very tight jeans.
You're supposed to mime on the top of the pots and play
SH101
chords on it.
Yeah, playing chords on it. Yeah. No, this is brilliant. It's brilliant. I think it's a fantastic idea. The magnetic thing. Probably, well, I won't be able to play it on the bed because Lily will just keep walking on it and separating it again. But, personally, I would have loved it if the keyboard could have been Bluetooth, actually. But, at that price...
It's silly, isn't it? It's
still
really
great. It's very, very good indeed. I'd love to hear one.
You can process external audio through the filter as well, which is a neat little feature. I don't know exactly how the two units connect. Yes, it's magnets, but I don't know how the data and all that is transferred. If there's no cables, maybe it is already Bluetooth.
Voodoo. They communicate via Voodoo.
Yeah, that's right, isn't it? Down as Irish for potato.
Anyway, it's an interesting. I think
that's a really interesting concept.
Where did this one? This was very left field. Where did this come from?
Well, I think we spoke about this when it was first kind of announced. Mooted, yes, and so well, hopefully when we get some audio demos or video demos, we'll be able to play that. But I think it's a very clever idea, and it's nice to see somebody coming in at the budget end of the market. And yes, they're doing similar things to what Behringer are doing in terms of being inspired by the instruments of old, but they're doing quite a drastic thing that's new and unique. So I like that. That's a lot. Talking of interesting new things, I'm not a fan, I'm going to say this right up ahead, of the motorized rotary knob. But the company that makes them, Melbourne Instruments, not content with doing a couple of synthesizers, they're now doing a compact MIDI controller with all sorts of cutting-edge features. In fact, I do believe I might somewhere have a video. Now, we've often talked about MIDI controllers that are kind of generic and will work with lots of things, but they don't always seem to tick every box. And I'm not saying this one does, but the fact that you've got these rotary controllers and the buttons, and then you've got the strip markers that are, the screens essentially, and can be changed to anything. And you've got 8 pages, so 64 set, or a total of 64 controls across 8 pages. I kind of like this, and it's very compact. What are we looking at price-wise? Have we got a price yet? I don't think we have. No. Tom, have we had a price yet, mate? Let us know in the chat. Just relying on Tom there for a bit of information, because he's in the biz as well, and gets all the updated info. But yeah, motorized knobs, those nice big kind of chunky 909 style buttons. Yeah, I like this quite a bit. I'd have to see one and play with one to see if it was something I could use. But who else? Is anyone else getting excited about this?
Is Tom associated with them?
No. Tom's writing for Synth Anatomy, so I was just wondering if he knew. Here you go. Steve Elbows has ordered one. 389 quid. That is pretty good, I think, for something like that.
I've used a lot of these kind of remote control surfaces over the years. I've got a lot. And what I've found is I prefer in the end to have continuous rotary encoders, because they're always right no matter what. I'm not. I get the idea of seeing the knobs move, but that just strikes me as being something to go wrong.
Can I just pause you there?
Yeah,
because
he said.
Somebody's having a fit here, because it's Mark Vale. Everyone, we can't hear you, Andy. You're on mute. Andy, you're on mute. Come in, Andy. You're on mute.
You're on mute.
Oh,
Andy.
sorry, I had mute. Say hi again. Sorry.
Hi, Mark. How you doing?
Everyone says
love
hi.
your books. Love your work, Mark.
Everyone
always.
loves your books.
You haven't moved very far from the art stand, because you're working there, aren't you, Andy?
Yeah. Well, I'm still in the ARP area. Ben Div Kid walked by a little bit ago, but I wanted to have Mark say hi. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice to see you, Mark. We'll have to get Mark on the show.
Thank you.
Andy, hit him up to get him on the show.
I will.
Is that Manny?
Yeah, man, I had him on earlier.
Of course it's Manny.
There he is. Put him on the spot.
I recognise the shirt, Manny. I recognise the shirt.
You said you recognise the shirt.
There you go, non-stop 6 up. No, actually, I recognise the sleeved shirt, because I think you wore that in Superbooth. Good to see the Groove Synthesis guys there. I'm so still wanting a third wave, but it's just not cheap. Anyway, thank you, Andy.
All right, cool, thank you.
Cheers. It's on the ground roving reporter from the floor of NAMM, right there. Some wonderful people that we've seen. Mark Vale, of course. If you haven't read any of Mark Vale's books, then you probably don't know as much about synthesizers as you think you do, because he's written some definitive tomes. I thoroughly recommend them. Anyway, sorry, Andy, I cut you off. We were talking about the this thing, the Melbourne Instruments Roto Control.
Yeah. So, I mean, where I am with it is just simply, I'm not quite sure, they look kind of cool to have rotary knobs, but it's something else to go wrong. Continuous knobs give you the same thing, but you can get more of them. There are other control surfaces out there that will do a similar thing. That they talk about Ableton, having the labels for Ableton. I'm not sure if the same label, if it applies, if you're using another DAW, probably it does. It's not a bad price, but I always end up with something that's this small, wanting at least 2 or 3 or 4 of them, and then it starts getting a bit unwieldy. And there are already controllers out there that have those number of knobs and sliders and God knows what else, and keyboards, in fact, that have all of that already included. So, it's not bad. I'm sure lots of people will find it interesting, but it's not really for me. That's it's okay.
Those knobs, by the way, are like the Arturia ones on some of the certainly the Astrolab and the the later key labs, they're touch sensitive. So as soon as you just touch the surface of the knob, it knows that you're there, sort of thing, and will respond and do things accordingly. So quite like that. Ken, I don't know, have you had your fill of MIDI controllers?
Yeah,
I'm
done. I'm done.
He's so done.
Has someone been touching your knobs?
Oh, mate. I mean, I got this. I mean, controllers. I mean, I got the Force ones. I got Slate Raven. I got this, that, and the other. The ones that I really got on with, they stopped making the software for them and deleted the hardware and stuff like that. And I just go, no, enough. If it's somebody who's getting into it and they don't have one, brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Although I'm not so sure about the 64 step, because that could get a bit steppy on some functions, as in live action anyway. But as far as I'm concerned, no, these remote things they can go do one now. I'm done.
Yeah. Robert's had to get his tuppence opening, and thank you ever so much for the donation, Robert. And as he says, he's not biased at all. But the Electra One MIDI controller is a very good device and very flexible, and works with lots and lots of different things because it has a big screen, big touch screen, so it's a wonderful thing. Yeah, thank you for that. Much appreciated. So yeah, that's the Melbourne Instruments Roto control. Now let's see, what else have we got to talk about? We've done the Doner Kebab. We've got that, and we've got that, and we've got that. I think we can get all of these in and still hit our 9 o'clock end time. Can I also just very quickly say, whilst most of you are still here, we've had a fantastic number of viewers tonight. I think probably one of our best ratings, shall we say. I think I saw numbers going into the 260s and the 270s for a live show, for one of our live shows. That's very impressive, and we thank and love every single one of you for tuning in. So we really do appreciate that. And if you do like the show, then give us a thumbs up.
It was serious.
That'll be nice. Yeah, Tom's just mentioned that the ESI X Synth has made an appearance at NAMM. ESI, the German company, I've got one of their MIDI interfaces. It's brilliant. They've, I believe, they've bought the IP of the old CME X key. Do you remember that little? It kind of looked like an Apple keyboard, but it was polyphonic aftertouch and all that. That's at NAMM. I haven't got the details up, so maybe we'll cover that next week. But that's a very interesting, very nice portable controller. Let's do this because why not? This is new from Dubrec Stylophone. So you might remember that a little while back they released this kind of drone synth in this desktop stroke Eurorack format. So as you can see it there on your screens right now, you can see where the Eurorack module sits into this kind of desktop thing. So you can either have one or t'other. This is an analog dynamic multi-filter. Let's get you some information on this. It's a Eurorack compatible compact portable modular filter that complements their drone synth. It has 4 types of Gen R8 filters, 12 dB per octave with low pass, band pass, high pass and notch. 1 type of the 2045, 24 dB per octave filter with low pass mode, and 3 combination types. So this is basically a big filter that you can use in either, you can use it within Eurorack or with anything else. It costs a mere £228 or $232, 269 euros. No release date yet, but it should be soon.
And when I saw this, I was a bit puzzled by it because I thought that there's lots of other filters out there for the Eurorack sector, as it were, and I couldn't quite see the point. But then I'd missed the fact that they've got the envelopes on there, they've got the noise on there, they've got sample and hold, they've got a whole bunch of other things on here that actually do make it quite appealing. They do make it quite appealing. I'd be really interested to hear from like an Andy Brooks or someone.
Yes,
who uses
absolutely.
modular.
Yeah, the world's worst Eurorack person, so I have very little knowledge about this stuff. But I would imagine that if you were to buy an envelope generator and 2 filters with all of that specification as individual Eurorack modules from one of your regular suppliers, it would cost a lot more than the 200 odd they're asking for this. So I would imagine this is pretty good value for money. I don't know, but I'm thinking. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Ken?
Yeah.
This is not your thing, is it?
Not at the moment.
Oh,
shall we say? Not at the moment. I'd like to look a little harder into the Eurorack stuff, because I've been seeing people doing things and hearing things from Eurorack that's been making me go,
Fair enough.
Someone a little earlier, someone posted in the chat that at NAMM it's all going to 5U. Hello, Andy's waggling his finger.
He's wagging his finger because he's managed to corner Ken Flux Pierce. Smile. Tell him to smile for God damn it.
Degenerate, get back to work.
Yeah, a bunch of nerds, right?
It's a nerd, yeah. Synth nerds. Yeah.
There it is. There's the
I don't
smile.
associate with those types.
Shut
Over
your
here
mouth.
at ASM and Medeli, we're way too cool for that.
He's too cool for you guys.
Yeah. So you see,
Well,
Yeah, it's nice.
too cool for school.
Nice.
So,
Yeah.
ASM has brought over our parent company Medeli into the U.S., so that's kind of our big thing right now.
Nice.
And, so we've
Andy?
got a whole slew of
Yeah.
products up here.
Can you ask him a question?
Yeah. What's the question?
Where's the goddamn Leviathan?
Well, I don't want to piss him off. So
Oh, please, piss him off.
Ask him.
Who's talking trash?
ask it again one more time.
Where's the goddamn Leviathan?
Where's the Leviathan?
Wait. Did we forget to bring it?
Again?
Got it.
Oh, we forgot it.
There's Glenn doing business deals at the back.
Put it on a post-it note. For God's
Nice
sake.
try, though.
Yeah, worth a try.
How come nobody's asking about the other names that were on that page?
Oh,
That's a very good question.
There were like 4 other unused names, but nobody wants to talk about those.
Yeah.
All
Very
right,
good
I
point.
gotta run.
no worries.
I got another meeting.
Thanks.
And,
Thanks, man.
Hey, PSN, I hope to be on shows.
Soon, yeah.
There you go.
Cool. Thank you.
There you go. Thank you, Andrew.
We'll put it in the background. Cheers, mate. There we go.
So there's of those other names he was mentioning, I'm not sure the wank puffin's going to fly somehow. I don't know. The ASM wank
What a
puffin.
wanker.
I don't know.
Oh dear! Always good to see our friend Ken, and we need to get Glenn. I actually spoke to Glenn when this whole Leviathan thing was going on. I said, "When are you coming back on the show?" He said, "When do you want me?" And I was like, "Okay, fine." We've got news of a very special guest next week coming up shortly. But that was the stylophone, the Dubrec stylophone CPM DF8. It's a dual filter with an envelope generator and Eurorack compatible and all that schniggles and wiggles. I don't even know what I'm talking about here. This, I thought, was rather cool. This is brand new from Bitwig, and it's not a piece of software. It is their very first hardware audio interface, which I think looks rather cool. And there is, I believe, somewhere around here, there's a video. Long trail at the end of that video. So yes, Bitwig, the software developers that were born out of former Ableton employees, if I'm not mistaken, they've got a brilliant DAW called Bitwig Studio, and they're now in the hardware game, which is more than just an audio interface. It features DC coupled inputs and outputs. optimized for modular systems and other CV-based devices. It features, as we saw, the connectivity there. You've got a mic line combo input, and then you've got a couple of inputs on the back. Are they three? Yeah, they're just 3.5 mils, I think, in 1 in 2. And then you've got a line instrument 2 there as well. You've got phantom power. You've got 6 mono outputs. You've got. This is what annoys me, is when the manufacturers claim multiple outputs, but they include the headphones as a pair. I suppose I'm guessing that
Look on top. On top.
You can reroute that as well. You got 3.5 mil TRS MIDI. You got USB-C. But as then Andy says, if we can find, is there a top shot here somewhere? I don't think there is. That's weird. Here we go. Let's just blow this up. And we're going to zoom in there. So you've got in 3, in 4, and then there's 4 outs at the back there as well. So that gives you 12 outputs, but 7 and 8, I guess, can be repurposed as not just headphones. Transport controls, you've got level meters, you've got this nice, gloriously big knob with the LEDs around the edge, and a bunch of other controls, and a dedicated Bitwig button for Bitwig-related activities, I guess. This reminded me initially of what Propellerhead did with the balance unit many years ago, which was slightly ill-fated. It was an incredibly good audio interface, but it suffered from the sticky black plastic coating that eventually, when you touch something, you just lifted the whole unit up with it. And slightly limited functionality. This seems to be better in the functionality department. And it's orange, or most of it is orange.
And more importantly, one of the things which you've not mentioned so far is you can use audio outs, especially ones on the top, but you can assign any of them, I think, to be CV outputs as well.
Yeah.
No, he did say that.
That's got to be a first.
Yeah, and it's not that badly priced, to be honest. For sort of €489.
And it has built-in effects.
Yeah, that's good. You see, that's one thing I wish my AudioFuse had, was an ability to just throw in some plug-in effects, or even just some standard stuff, because it's really nice. The one thing about the AudioFuse is you don't have to have it connected to a computer for it to work, so you can use your stuff through it without having the computer turned on. So it would be also then very nice to be able to put some effects in. But we digress. So yeah, it's a lovely thing, and it looks like it's got a proper metal chassis rather than the plastic coated stuff, and everybody.
And it looks like it's kind of been thought about for the modular community, which I think that's a good thing, isn't it?
Definitely a very good thing. Yeah, nice. I've always admired these little tabletop things, especially for little project studios. They're really nice.
Yeah.
So yeah. Good stuff, and a good price as well. A good price. So that's Bitwig's 412 or Connect 412 to give it its full name, which is going to be available now to order. We've done the Dubrec. This I think is very cool. I got very excited. Everybody get their drinks when CME announced Witty. There we go. I got very excited, bought a ton of them, and have used them all over the place. I actually think this is probably the most useful thing that they've made in some while. It's just a MIDI cable, but it's a really clever MIDI cable. So this MIDI cable, as you can see in this picture here, has a regular 5-pin or 2 5-pin, one for in, one for out on one end, and on the other end you've got a USB-C plug, but just behind that USB-C plug is a small little box, and in that small little box is a microprocessor running software, and you can access that software via a Windows, Mac OS, iOS and Android device. There's an app for all of those, and within that app you can do a number of things. You can use it as a MIDI filter, so you can filter pretty much any kind of MIDI data. So you can set your cable up to specifically filter. Say, for example, you wanted to connect something to a drum machine, but you didn't want it to play the notes. You just want it to clock. You can just turn all of that off, and then this is your clocking cable. You can use it as a MIDI router, so you can route MIDI through it. You can also use it as a MIDI mapper, so you can map CC data and turn any knob, button, switch, control into a MIDI controller. And you can do a whole bunch of other things with it as well. And it's €29.99, available to pre-order now, shipping next month. No power necessary because it draws its power either from the MIDI out port or the USB port, whichever one is supplying the best power. I just think this is a dead clever little cable.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
I can think of 6 things in here now that's screaming out for that cable.
Yeah.
Exactly. I've got the same thing here.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6 things. I've got 6 things.
Yeah. In a world where USB to regular MIDI cables are 2 a penny on places like Amazon and are useless because they can't handle heavy data transfer rates. This thing apparently has got some incredible specification. High density, high speed, supports MPE, MIDI 2.0, 100% accuracy, no latency, no jitter, no dropouts.
It's the supporting MPE and MIDI too. That immediately is going to have people going, "Whoa," something that actually does.
Yeah.
And that might be your problem, Ken, with transmitting and receiving MIDI, MPE from Cubase. It might just be that Cubase is having problems with the data that's coming through or the ordering of it.
Yeah.
Because of cabling.
Well,
I'm going to be
in the
getting
chat
some
saying
of these.
something about that it didn't have USB-C. But they do converters, don't they? C to B.
Oh, yeah. You can do
anyway, so you
converters
just
in
put
any
a C to B
direction,
converter on the end of it, and boom.
So
it'll work.
So very, very cool thing again from CME, who do some incredibly good stuff. I'm going to get one of these, even though I don't have a specific burning need for it. I just think this is very impressive, and I want to try it, so I'm going to buy
You
one.
want a couple of them in the drawer.
Yeah, absolutely.
For when this doesn't work.
Well, one of the things I was messing around with recently is I've got the Poly Brute here, and I've got the Matrix Brute there, and I've got the Drum Brute, and I wanted to just use all 3. And I just wanted to clock them all together. And so instead of using MIDI, I was just using sync cables. But I could see a case for me taking one of these cables and connecting it to the Drum Brute or any drum machine, and then just using the clock, and then doing, I'd be able to just synchronize everything on my computer with all of that stuff very easily.
I've noticed, and I've seen several times in studios when you start connecting lots of things and you've got MIDI clock, your MIDI time code flying around, as well as MIDI CC and all that stuff, you could end up with all sorts of issues where the clock isn't quite there. You end up with it's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I want to get one of these and just try it out and test it to death. I might get more than one actually. The only problem then is how many USB-Cs you can go into. So I think we talked about this earlier, didn't we, Robbie, about getting a patch bay.
Well, I don't know the specifics about using with USB hubs, but I would say that as long as your USB hub is powered from the mains and delivers consistent voltage across the board, you should be fine. But the thing is with this, because I've got the experience of the Witty units, if it can draw power from the MIDI out, that's a pretty consistent power supply, and it will work on 3.3 and 5 volts, which is what the MIDI standards say should be at the port. So
it occasionally is.
Yeah, most of the time it's there, but So I'm going to speak to Thomas and see if we can get hold of some of these and have a play.
Also, the beauty of this being USB-C as well is that for our modular chaps and chapesses who like to do their drones and do their hardware jams out and about, of course it plugs into the iPhone and it plugs into the iPad.
Exactly.
Which has lots of apps like sequencers and what have you and things.
Friends like Dr. Mike Metley, who loves his iPad for music, this could be an incredibly useful little thing.
It could.
Yeah.
It could.
Interesting stuff. Well done, CME. Of course, CME and Zhao, the guy behind CME, is at NAMM. So if you're at NAMM, go and hit him up and go and say hi.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of minutes. I was just going to mention, but this was the last thing that I added to the list. So this is the thing that I've read up least about, and this is the new Studio Logic SL Mark II. New controller keyboards with built-in audio interfaces. They are seriously good stuff. Kent, you had a Studio Logic, didn't you?
Many moons ago. Yeah, an SL61, yeah.
They are the sister company of Fatar, so you would fully expect the key beds in these to be, and they are top of the range kind of things. But it's you get SL73, SL88, and I believe an SL61 as well. But the big hammer action stuff is incredibly nice. They're not particularly cheap. 1,379 quid. They're MIDI 2 equipped. Will be available in March. And
what am I talking about? I've got an SL88 in the cupboard.
I thought you still had.
Yeah,
those.
I have. That has a remote
They're very,
thing as
very
well.
highly regarded.
Use.
However,
Yeah, beautiful
if I'm not
action.
mistaken, beautiful action and everything, and it does have aftertouch, but it doesn't have poly aftertouch.
Doesn't have poly aftertouch, and it doesn't appear to be NSX, the NKS.
NKS.
It doesn't appear to be NKS compliant. So, at the price, you can get poly aftertouch and NKS and the screen.
We get the Mark III
Novations.
complete controls.
Yeah.
Well, the
With
Novation
poly
or
AT.
the Korg.
Yeah.
Or the Arturia. There are all sorts of alternatives out there. I think they've missed a trick not having poly.
Yeah.
I do.
You got
Which is a shame because.
Sorry.
You got time for the Kurzweil?
Oh yes.
Don't look it.
Hang on. We can quickly do that.
Quickly mention the Kurzweils.
I'm just trying to find. Why did I? I must have closed that tab by mistake, which is why I've forgotten about it. Here we go. We'll bring those in. So yeah, the Studio Logic SL Mark IIs are available now in various sizes for various prices, and they will. The Piano GT comes in at just like
and there's no pitch bend wheel or modulation wheel. It's on those switches, which is
it's a little odd.
That's odd.
It is odd. But anyway. Let's do this because we forgot. So thank you for reminding me. Kurzweil K2061 and K2088. So we mentioned these when they were announced last year, I believe. But nothing. I think it was at NAMM last year that these were announced, but there was nothing on display. Now they are available, and essentially this is the VAST or VAST synthesis that Kurzweil are very famous for. So this is basically that engine on its own, no workstation type stuff, but it's an incredibly powerful engine. It does all sorts of synthesis, lots of controls on this surface as well. So it's a very capable synthesizer, 256 voices of polyphony. It's 32 layers per program. Ribbon controller, 16-part multi-timbral, 2 GB factory library with over 2,000 programs. With focus on sounds from the 2000, the 2500, the 2600, select sounds from the current 2700, Forte, PC4, PC3 and SP6 are included. There's also 2 gig of non-volatile memory for user samples, and it's backwards compatible all the way back to the K2000, which I think is pretty impressive stuff. Lots of specification going on there. You've got the virtual analog engine, 6 operator FM that is also compatible with DX7. There's the KB3 organ simulation. There's a huge bunch of effects and effects chains. Just a massively impressive piece of hardware. They will begin to ship soon. Apparently, the 61 key model is going to be about $21.99 US, and the 88 around $3,000 US.
And the sound of the Kurzweils is always just deeply impressive. I'm always blown away when I hear them and just go, why haven't I got one of these? And it's because the keyboards break very quickly.
Yeah.
They do knacker pretty quickly. Well, not quickly, but they do. They're known for it. But I love the sounds on these things, and the VAST engine. They're great. They're really, really, really powerful synths.
Yeah. So yeah.
But again, no poly.
Yeah, but
it's a shame.
Kurzweil fans are Kurzweil fans for life, I find.
Yeah.
Those that love them, they're in for the long run.
Love them. I do love them.
Dave likes them as well. Dave Spears, he's a big Kurzweil fan. And talking of Dave Spears, I can't believe I must have closed a bunch of tabs accidentally. I'm sorry to the folks over at Symptoms of Reality. We are going to run over slightly here, but I think, we have to cover this. Where's it gone? I've lost it. I must have just shut these tabs down by mistake, or just opened too many. GeForce are back with a brand new synthesizer. Well, I say a brand new synthesizer. This is a replica of it says replica. They've worked in conjunction with Novation to bring the Novation Base Station back to life. It used to be a plugin some years ago, but unfortunately the code got out of date. The authorization system couldn't be replicated. There's lots of stories why the original B Station plugin died and has gone away. But I mean, I remember when this came out in the early 90s, and everyone was billing this as a 303 clone, but with a keyboard, much easier to play rather than trying to program a real 303. But they've done the whole GeForce thing on this. It sounds incredible. It's now 16-voice polyphonic. It features all of the XMod facilities. It's got the sequencer built in as well. It's just a glorious thing, and I've been playing around with this for a little while and having loads of fun with it. Some of the demos are incredible.
Yeah, and they've added some additional controls for around syncing and various other things. Yeah. And actually, this works really well as a poly, unbelievably well as a poly. They've done a great job with this. GeForce, hats off. Yeah, out the park. So Dave sent me a track from his forthcoming album, which he's been putting videos up over the last year or so. The album's going to be called Songs from the Grief Chair, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And he sent me this track. He said pretty much everything on here, bar one or two things, was Base Station. And you think, wow, because it just sounds incredible. It's really, really cool. So, yeah, it's got all of the great things that the original had, plus way, way more. And it's a great thing to have. It's currently available for $49.99 plus VAT. Full price is $99.99 plus VAT. I believe there's a 30-day demo version. Owners of Novation's Launch Key Mark IV, FL Key Controller, and SL Mark III. Registered owners will get this plugin completely free of charge. Go to your Novation account and go and claim it now, because it's a brilliant, brilliant thing. And sorry, there was something someone mentioned in the chat as well about alternatives to the various keyboards we've shown. One of which was the Contact S Series Mark III, which does everything a lot of our things do, and of course it's NKS compliant, and it's got poly aftertouch and all that stuff. They're a great. The control keyboards are also really, really good. So
that's what
just to offer the choice, as it were.
Indeed. So I think we covered everything. Let me have a look through the list. So Base Station, tick. AudioFuse, tick. V-Stage, tick. Stylophone, Nord, Mantis, Viscount Legend One, Bitwig Audio Interface, BX1, JT16, Pro 16, Rhodes Stage 61, the Kurzweils, the CME cable, the Carbonate, the Nonlinear Labs update, the AKAI updates, the AKAI and NI partnership, the Donner L1, the Melbourne instruments, the Studio Logic controllers. We've done them. We've done the lot. Now I'm sure there's going to be more stuff. There's going to be more stuff because obviously NAMM is live right now. How live is it? It's this live. It's this. This is how live it is. There it is. The BX1. Look at that. Have you played it, Andy?
Not yet. No, I just found it.
Yeah, look at that. So give it a play. Like to know. Like to know what it's.
Behringer heaven here.
It's a huge stand, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's got an upstairs as well. You're allowed upstairs on the red carpet.
No, they probably kicked me out of there.
Is Uli there?
He was here supposedly, but not today.
Yeah, I've seen a few pictures. But that BX1, we've been talking about that. It's a really cool thing. Can't wait to actually to hear it in action.
It's LM2.
I know. Look, I've got one. I got one last week.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
LM2, your favorite, right?
Well, it's not an LM2.
I know. That's
Stop
why I
it.
brought it up.
Stop it. Don't go there. There you go. There's the Pro 16.
Don't know if that's really necessary.
Yeah.
But that's me.
It's
Be nice
all
if
for
they.
you, Ken.
Yeah.
Favorite.
There you go.
Apparently, I was talking to Drew Schlesinger. He said this wave is pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of good things about it.
Yeah.
Starsky Carr put a video up earlier today. It sounds really nice. Yeah. Have to say though, since I got that LM drum, the so-called wooden end cheeks, they do look a bit cheap. They're definitely not wood, but yeah.
This is the best section here, though. Look at these little guys.
Oh yeah, little ones.
So little.
Super
Sweet.
glued to the desk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't move them.
Well, Andy, thank you ever so much, as usual, for your guided tour and your. What's the carpet like in the Behringer stand, by the way?
Black.
Black
Black
as the blackest black.
Black. Everything is black.
Black.
No hope.
Andy,
I might have to put this on
enjoy the
repeat.
rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your show.
There's some eye candy for you there.
Behave. Yeah, enjoy the rest of the show.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Send our love to everyone that we know.
We'll do.
Corner lots of people and ask them to be guests, and then we'll sort something out.
All right. Mark Bale said he
Checks
would.
in the post.
So,
Awesome. Brilliant. Yeah, I've got Mark's email, so we'll sort that. Brilliant stuff.
Cool.
Enjoy the rest of the show. Thanks ever so
guys.
much, mate. Really appreciate it. Bye-bye, Andy. That's Andy Synth Addict, everyone. At the NAMM show. Thank you ever so much indeed. Every year, what we didn't get was buffet crampon. We didn't get any buffet crampon.
No.
So,
What?
Don't you know about buffet crampon?
No.
Hang on,
it's way over there. It's too far away. Oh wait, no, I can
Takes-
see it from here.
go on then. Come on. We got to get our regular dose
Come
of
on,
buffet
run.
crampon.
Run.
Hold on.
Come on.
Come on, Andy.
I'll
Come
tell you what, while we're
I
waiting
see
for it,
the
can I
sign.
give
I see the
a,
sign.
while we're waiting, can I
Yeah.
give a shout out to
Of course.
Mike Parkinson?
Mike.
Who is, Mike Parkinson.
Okay.
He's an OBXA owner.
Yeah.
I'm going to be sewing his keyboard next week. And I said, look, come to PSN. Come see. I said I'd give him a shout out if he showed up, and he did. And he has.
Cool.
So there you go. And
Nice one.
I'm doing his OBXA in. Well, he's got to find a flight case, I think, and get it right
Fantastic.
from. I think it was Plymouth.
Oh wow! Oh look, there's
So-
a print. The print
Oh
stand.
look,
there.
Prince.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've just gone past the F note stand as well. There's Rowley with their wavy air things.
See it?
There you go. There's buffet crampon.
Hey.
Yeah, gotta have some buffet.
What was the joke we were doing about buffet crampon?
I can't remember.
I can't remember what it was. It had something to do with.
Buffet crampon.
It's brass,
Yep.
brass and woodwinds.
Yep, that's what they do. It's probably Buffett crampon, isn't it, or something? Like Warren Buffett.
No, the
sort of
joke ended up being something along the lines of ladies'
Dude just
sanitary
walked
products,
past with you.
wasn't it?
There's Rolly. Look, Rolly has a big thing.
Rolly
It
has a lot
doesn't
of-
look.
yeah.
It doesn't look a lot like Hanoi, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, Andy, thank you ever so much. We're going to have to shut the show down whilst
guys.
we watch young ladies waving their hands in midair. Cheers, mate. Appreciate it. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care. God bless, mate.
Ta-da, babe.
There he goes. Right, that's the show. Very quickly, need to give a shout out to Scott McCauley Sands. Thank you very much for your donation. That's superb. Thank you ever so much. If you want to donate, you can do so using the buttons down below, the thanks button if you're watching on catch up, or you can use super chat, super stickers. You can become a Patreon member. You can become a YouTube channel member, and you can also buy merchandise from our store where we get a little slice of the money. Thanks ever so much, Scott, and also thank you to No Data Available for your donation. Thank you ever so much. Really appreciate every penny we get. Thank you very much
Good man.
indeed. We will be back same time, same place next week. But I've forgotten to load up the image, so I'm going to do that. Well, actually, no. Let me just go to the show page because that's just going to be quick. I was going to load the image. We'll go here, and I'm going to show you who is on the show next week because we have a very special guest joining us, and that person is none other than Robin Vincent. Robin Vincent of Molten Music Technology. He's also the organizer of Synth East, which is a big synthesizer 3-day event that happens here in the UK in the city of my birth, Norwich. Happens over the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of the 21st to the 23rd of February. So on the Friday, there's a movie. It's the Mark Reeder film called B-Movie. Followed by an interview with John Fox, the great legendary John Fox, interviewed by the wonderful Adam Buxton. On the Saturday, you have the Expo, which is just like a synth show that takes place in Norwich Arts Centre. Pro Synth Network will be there. Me and Peter are going to be bringing some stuff down. Come and say hi. We might have some freebies to give away. Then again, we might not. I've got to pull my finger out on that one. And then on the Saturday night, there's going to be a gig. Featuring a bunch of people, including Robin, who's doing a piece with Paulie Alex Bow. So they're going to be doing a collaboration there, the warm-up act. And then I forget the lady's name, who's the main artist. If somebody in the chat would like to put that name up, that'd be fantastic. Her name's just kind of flashed in and out of my head. But Robin is going to come on next week and tell us all about it. And we'll just we'll have a great laugh with someone who's doing some great work in the synthesizer community. So do join us for that. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel to get notifications of that. So there we go. Looking forward to that. Thank you to everyone that's joined. We had some record numbers today. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you ever so much. Thank you to you, Andy, and to you, Kent, for coming on as always, and for your learned expertise and commentary and witty repartee. We'll see you guys next week as well, where we're going to be grilling Robin. And don't forget, there's loads of other people on. So coming up after this show, there's Symptoms of Reality. It's Popcorn Night. I've entered the track this week, so I should be looking or listening out for that one if I can.
So have I, in direct competition.
Brilliant. Excellent.
With a short one
then.
You got to do one, yeah. So they're on just after this show, and then tomorrow you got Ramsey at 1. So I'm sure Ramsey will be doing a whole bunch of NAMM stuff too. So if there's anything that's coming out like today that we've missed, he can catch up on that. What else have we got on Saturday? There will be another Symptoms of Reality show, which will be chatting with the Dixons, I believe. And then on Sunday, Jamie, it's great to see Jamie back, GeoSynths. He is doing. What's he doing? He's doing. Oh God, he's doing the GeForce Base Station. So he's doing a whole bunch of like sound design on the base station because Jamie did a whole bunch of presets for that. So he knows his way around it. So that'll be really cool. Yeah, absolutely. Andy Synchrotron tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And don't forget, Andy Synchrotron's Synthspiration videos will be on next week. There was no one this week because we had too much to fit in. So we've postponed it. And it's good because I think it was curry night for Andy. He went out with his family. So it'd be good to have him around. Deadman Walking's asking if there's going to be a pub over the weekend.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe. Okay.
Yeah. I think so. Good. I mean, we're due one, aren't we?
We are.
Kind of.
We are.
So
we really
are. I suppose so. I haven't done any swearing all week, so.
I don't. So.
Got to get me quite.
Bollocks.
Yeah.
Indeed. And on that bombshell, we'll bid you adieu and hope you have a fantastic evening, a great weekend. Have lots of fun, stay safe, watch loads of stuff on Tinternet. Don't forget to give us a like and a subscribe. That'll be fantastic. And we will see you all same time, same place next week. Until then, bye-bye.
Bye from Hanoi. Bye. Bye.